Hello, Blood Wash Church family and partners. Happy New Year to you. My heart is so filled with love and joy and gratitude because what I did, I went back and I looked at the various words that were spoken at the beginning of 2024. And those words that came forth, I laid hold of them. And I pray that you did too. And I would just, through the year, just go back and look at those words and remind the Lord of what He had said, of what He had promised. And in reflection, this past week I went back and I looked at those words, those prophetic words that were spoken. I looked at some different videos, even the video that I had posted where I put different things what the Lord said. And I'm telling you, they came to pass. They came to pass. God is faithful to watch over His word to perform it. Now, if you were not privy to the things that were spoken at the beginning of 2024, or if the words that were spoken, you heard them, but you took them casually and you didn't lay hold of them and you didn't see the manifestation of the things that were uttered. Well, guess what? This is a new year. This is a new start. And so this year, oh, the Lord is He's speaking good things. And this is your year for you to step into those things. Now, what I want to do, as I put up a post earlier, I said that I was going to do a year-end book review. So that is my purpose for being here today. So here we go. What I want to do off by reviewing the book that my ministry, that Blood Wash Church, has lived in for this entire year. This is the message that the things outlined in this book. This is the message that I have preached, that the Lord has given me the grace to preach for the entire year. And what a year it has been, not just for me, but for the people that sat under my ministry. And I'm giving all grace to God. What can I do in and of myself? Zero. But those people that listened and listened and listened as the truths that are outlined in this book, it's gospel. It's not just what a man said, but the scriptures, the truths, the revelation that is outlined here, as that was taught, and people laid hold of it. Oh, I'm telling you, it caused a change. It caused a change. It caused people that were just destitute, no hope. And to see the people get up, just stand up, to see the people, to see a light in their eyes, to see the revelation come that I am royalty. I am a son of God. Why have I been sitting here like this? Why have I been going along and just taking the things that I have been taking in life? Why have I been walking around like a beggar? Oh, it's just been wonderful. It's just been wonderful. It's just been wonderful. And if you recall, I believe it was maybe in January or February. I might not have those months correct, but I remember I even offered, I just said, here, get the book. And if you don't have it, just email me and I'll just send the book to you. I was just so gung-ho on people having the book in their hands. And I'm telling you, the things that God has done, oh my goodness, to see the transformation in people's lives, it has brought me such joy to witness it, to see things, to see the manifestation, to see people step out in the word, step out on the water. Now, what I did, in addition to teaching the concepts here, was to encourage the people that are under my ministry, that have joined, that God has given to me to be with this ministry. Join us together. God is the one that puts people in different church groups or fellowships. And I said, now don't just hear the word. Don't just read the word and say, okay, yeah, I read it, and just toss it to the side. But take it and put faith with it. And I said, take this word, these concepts, and pray and ask God, ask Him, give me the revelation. Give me the revelation. Give me the revelation. And I'm telling you, that's what He did. And so I'm going to, and I'm still, until He tells me differently, the concepts, the principles outlined in this book, the concepts, that's going to be my message for 2025. Of course, along with other things. Of course, I teach healing. Of course, I'm going to teach walking in love. Of course. But this revelation of who we are in Christ, this is what will transform a church. And this is what, that revelation is what will transform a city. In closing, because I just want to give this example, because it's like, well, I would say, well, Lord, how can I just pick out one part, and how can I explain what has happened this year? But I'm just going to give an example that hopefully will help you to relate to what I'm trying to say happened. Let's say, for example, here in Michigan, let's do it like this. Here in Michigan, they have a program where you can put aside money. You can put aside money when your child is born, and you can put it towards their education, towards their college. And so you can have that money set aside. And so when the child graduates from high school, it's already paid for. Any school in Michigan, any college in Michigan, you've already paid for. You've already put into it. And then if your child doesn't want to go to college in Michigan, then that money, portions of it, could be go to whatever school they want to go to. Now, I don't know if that program is still going on today, but I know when my children was born, that was available. Now, so what if you were a person and you saw that money had been put aside for that child to go to college? It's already paid for. It's already done. And so you're observing this person, and they graduate from high school, and they decide they're going to go to college. But they have not taken the time to see what's been made available to them. Now, you might have tried to tell them, well, or someone might have tried to tell them it's already paid for. It's already paid for. But for whatever reason, they don't get it. They don't have the revelation of it. So they go to school, they enroll, and then here this bill comes up, and so they're going to school, and then they're working, struggling, working hard to pay that tuition. So they're going to school, and they're working hard to pay that tuition. So they're just wearing themselves out, working, studying, and all the time, the finance part has already been paid for. All they have to do basically is concentrate on the study. And you try to tell the person, but, well, they're too busy. They're just too busy, because I have to study for this exam. I have to read this book. I have to read this chapter. And then I have to go to work, because if I don't go to work, that tuition isn't going to be paid. And they're too busy. But then finally, if you could get the person to say, stop, read, find out. Here are the papers. It's already been paid for. And then they get their revelation. I've been working too hard. So that's like a simple illustration. But this is what I just want to say to you. And I'm not pushing books. I'm not getting a commission, okay? Pushing a book to push a book. But what I'm trying to say, for those that are connected with Blood Washed Church, it's mandatory. You get that revelation so we can run, so we can take off and do what the Lord has called us to do. Now, the next book that I want to highlight for 2024, one of the just a fantastic book that has just done so much. It's helped me so much in teaching others. And it's this book by Dr. Bill Hamon, and it's 70 Reasons for Speaking in Tongues. Now, you might say to me, well, Pastor D, you've been speaking in tongues for well over 30 years. Why would you recommend this book? Simply because the saying goes, know your audience. I know my audience. I know where I live. And when I step outside my house, I'm looking for divine encounters to talk to people. When I go to the store, I'm looking for the Lord to do some strategic things, to have me talk to people that I need to talk to. And many people in the Tri-County area where I live, many of them are in church. Many of them, they're church people. And when you talk to them and say, well, are you using your prayer language? They look at you like, oh, well, now you were doing okay when you were talking about Jesus, but now you talk about that praying in tongues, but don't you know that's of the devil? I'm talking about in 2024, church people do not realize what has been provided for us, what the Father has given us. And let me just give this example because, of course, I could just talk and just give so many illustrations. But let me give you this. Why this is so important to me is when I first started hearing about, as a teenager, basically, I started hearing about something called speaking in tongues. And the church I was in, they were adamant. That is of the devil. You cannot do that. No. And who in their right mind, if you love God, who would want to do something that is in opposition to what the scriptures teach? But I had no information that I could go and read to see. This is of God. This prayer language. It's something that is given to us to benefit us, to help us, to give us power to get the job done. I recall, you might have heard this story before, that one of my relatives called me over to her house, and it was her and one of the other cousins, he was a pastor, just several people. Now my dad was not there because when he heard about it, he was upset that this happened. But they called me over, sat me down, and said, well, we hear that you're interested and that you're watching these people talking about speaking in tongues. Because there was something in me. I want all that God has for me, but there was also a thing where I don't want to step into anything that is not of God. And I'm telling you, they rake me over the coals. That is not of God. That's causing division. And then you didn't talk back to your elders. Now, when I was coming up, you just kept your mouth shut. But they raked me over the coals. So needless to say, it was years before I got enough information where I had the boldness to say, I want that. And this book, read the book. Read the book. This is, who do you think was behind? Who do you think is behind not wanting people to know the value and the benefit of having your prayer language? Who do you think is behind that? Now, I'm going to resist the temptation to just preach because this is a book review, so I'm not going to do that. But if you have any uncertainty, get the book. It's 70 Reasons, scriptural. And if I had this book years ago, I would have been able to step into and use my prayer language and to pray out mysteries, to pray out secrets, to pray out, to walk in the things that God had for me. But there was no teaching available that I knew of. So this is an excellent book to help you. And if you already have your prayer language, it will help you get the information you need that you can share. Then you can share it with others. Now, this book here, Can't You Talk Louder, God? Secrets to Hearing the Voice of God. And this is by Steve Shultz. Now, and also I want you to know that I'm going to put the titles of these books and the authors, I'm going to put this in the description. Now, many people, if not most people, you Christians, you want to hear what God is telling you. You want to know. This book, oh, it just makes it so simple. He explains it. Guess what? You are hearing from God. You are hearing from, oh, it's just in such a simple way, where this this brother, he outlines that things that are happening in your life. Stop and take a look at it. That was God speaking to you. That is God speaking to you. And actually, I'm going to tell you, I read this book in 2023, but I feel the message was so important because the information that was given, I'm walking in it every day of my life. Because once I got clearer and I began to understand that this is God speaking to me, because we can get intimidated because someone the way God speaks to them, and we're like, oh wow, look at them, they're hearing from God, and God might not speak to us that exact same way. So then we start to feel a little inferior, or, well, wow, look at them, this great person of God, and God speaking to them that way. I don't hear him like that. But as this book points out, God is speaking to you. And once I got that assurance, and I could see, yes, God, this has been you. You've been talking to me all the time in the way that you talk to me, because we're his children, and each person is different. And once I learned that the way he talks to me, the way he's talking to me, and I got more fine-tuned, do you know that led me into a place of prosperity? Because just in little simple things, I would say, okay, well, Lord, now that was you talking to me. And you were saying that, and that was you all. I could go way back. I could go back in my life and see where things were lined up, where he had been talking to me, but I didn't realize it was him. So once I got settled, this is God talking to me. This is how he speaks to me. Then when he would tell me to do something financial, then I'm like, okay, that's Lord. This is the same voice that all these years has been talking to me. Oh, I can take that step. Oh, I can do that. And he led me to a place of prosperity because I followed his voice. I highly recommend this book. Now, this book here, Healing the Heart by Joan Hunter. I talked about this book a little earlier in the year. I did, I think I put up one of her videos, Joan Hunter. Now, she's talking about healing the heart. And obviously, it helps you to heal a broken heart. But what I have found out is this book also is a way to bring physical healing. She talks about, and it's not a gossipy book, but it's not a bunch of drama, but she just talks about what happened in her life when she was married. She and her husband were in the ministry, and her husband left her actually for another man. And this ministry that she was in, it was her parents' ministry, very prominent ministry, and all of that shame and guilt and all that, the turmoil that she went through. And she wound up being diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. So she talks about, yes, healing the heart, but did you know that cancer left her body? And she did not receive any type of treatment. That cancer got up and left her. So yes, this book is really excellent, talking about healing a broken heart. But now, many people, or some, I'm not going to say many, some people that I have prayed with for physical healing. Now, Christ the Healer, that book by E.W. Kenyon, that's the classic. They get that book. I might send them the book. But for some, I even say, read this book too. Because sometimes it could be something in our soul. So I'm not saying all the time, but sometimes there can be something in our soul that needs to be dealt with. And that sickness will get up and it'll walk off of your body. Excellent book. Healing, or I'll say too, if you have a broken heart, it might not be anything physically wrong with you. You have a broken heart, this book, absolutely excellent. Now, another book, this is the last but not the least. I've read many, many excellent books, and I'm so thankful that the Father has given gifts to the body of Christ. He's given us ministry gifts to teach us, to equip us, to strengthen us. And I'm strengthened because of the people that He has put here on the earth, that He's gifted to us to help us. And that's His way of doing things. Now, I don't know why God does it this way. Why can't He just tell us everything we need to know? Now, of course, He does in our prayer time when we're walking with Him, reading the Word. Of course, He talks to us. But He's also set it up that some kind of way we're intertwined with each other. He's set it up that He's about fellowshipping. He's about us loving Him, but also having fellowship and relationship with one another. So now this last book, not the least, but the one I'm going to talk about today, and this book is by Dr. Paula Enenche. It's 6 Supernatural Secrets to Unquestionable Stardom, Wisdom, and Distinction. And this book, I will say, is like a modern day Proverbs. It just gives so many nuggets of wisdom, 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 wisdom. Just excellent. And I won't go into all the detail, but I'm gonna say it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing. Wisdom from above. Wisdom to help us be on the right road and to stay on the right road. So thank you for listening as I reviewed those books. And again, those are just a few of the books, but they're the ones that I just felt led to highlight. And I want to just say that I just bless you for this year, 2025. It's my prayer that the blessing of God not only be upon you, but may that blessing of God, may it just overtake you. May you just live in the blessing of God. May His grace be upon you. May you see His hand upon you and those that are dear to you. Oh, may you step into your purpose. May you step into His plan. May you look back next year, this time, and say, oh, what a wonderful year it has been. What a mighty God. He has manifested Himself to me. He has been faithful to me in every way. So I pray God's blessing upon you and your loved ones. And thank you for listening. And God bless you. Bye-bye.